Breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
Hey, warmer from the low. Welcome to lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson. Now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. We've got an excellent podcast for you. We're going to keep this to two parts because, we don't have any games on Wednesday. We only have one day of truly no games or home run derby, which that's good. Typically, we've got multiple days during the All-Star break, but we're going to be joined in segment number 2 by Colby Marchio. He does such great work over at Covers and Better Day. We're going to chat with him about what we all saw here in the first half, how he's going to be looking to play some team totals here in the second half of the season, a few teams that he's bullish/bearish on because he had a lot of success backing the Chicago White Sox during the first half of the season, and some of the guys that might be able to provide some value here moving forward in terms of the prop market. Here in segment number 1, I'm going to recap what we all saw in the All-Star game, and well, it was a fun one. Hopefully you didn't bet too much money on it because let's call it what it is. Typically, there aren't the biggest edges in the world with regards to betting the All-Star game, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities here in the second half of the season. So I'll be looking to try to get you guys set here in the next 24 to 48 hours to maximize that. If you do have a question, comment, segment idea, what have you for this podcast, you do have one of two ways we offer those in. First one is my Twitter/X timeline at gunit_81. Keep in mind, letters CM, they mean does not matter. So as per usual, please do send these into the timeline. And the other way is find an Apple Podcast review. If you rate this podcast 5 stars, it's very much appreciated. And then from there, you're able to fire in whatever you'd like to hear on this podcast via that 5-star review. Did not get in any Twitter/X questions, and hopefully these few days with really not a lot of baseball to handicap other than the home run derby and the All-Star game have been relaxing. And how about if we do take a look back at that All-Star game and see how the festivities for the Summer Classic all shook out.
Games from yesterday is Greg buzzing about. Here is the rowdy recap.
It was All-American League in this one. 4-0 the final for Christopher Sanchez. He got the start, and this was not what he was looking for. He gives up 3 runs over the course of his inning. Cody Bellinger had an RBI single in this one, and he ended up winning the MVP award, as everyone for the American League that stepped in and pitched in this game was tremendous. 15 strikeouts on the National League side of things. Dylan Cease in 25 pitches. He was able to strike out the side, and then Parker Messick, Michael Wacha, Joe Ryan, Nick Martinez, Cade Smith, they all come in for a scoreless inning. Drew Rasmussen, Jacob Latz combined for a scoreless inning. Louis Varland a scoreless inning, and then Aroldis Chapman and Brian Baker, they combined for a scoreless inning. From there for the National League, it wasn't too bad. Justin Robelski actually ends up filling 2 innings. You don't see that very often in the All-Star game. And he did give up a home run to Miguel Vargas, his first career home run in the All-Star game, but he was able to get 5 strikeouts in his 2 innings. And then you had Eduardo Rodriguez, Riley O'Brien did hit Junior Caminero. He left this game. Want to be monitoring that. I don't anticipate it to be anything serious, but that was not a great moment to say the least. Jesus Luzardo, Foster Griffin, Raciel Iglesias, they all led a scoreless inning, and then Mason Miller and Yohan Duran, they're both able to give you a scoreless inning. So for the American League, they do find a way to be able to get the job done in this one. And for the National League now, 2-11 in the last 13 All-Star games. So that's what we all saw with the All-Star game. If you had the under, if you had the American League, you got there. I personally had the National League at the over, so not great. But again, it's what I was telling you on this podcast last few days. Tread very, very lightly with exhibition games. You don't want to have more at risk than the actual players out there on the field. And we'll look to do a great job in the second half of the season and getting us set for an amazing second half of the season. Our good friend Colby Marchio. He joins me next right here on the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now a part of the VSiN Family Podcast.
Breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
We're back to lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. It's always great to be joined by this man, as we've got Colby Marchio aboard. He's doing such an excellent job over at Covers, taking a look at this great game that we all know and love of baseball. He is dialed into everything on that front. He, much like myself, a lover of college basketball as well. He does a great job with our friend Jake Hassan over at Better Day, the Off the Board podcast, and so much more. You're able to follow him on Twitter/X at Kobe M. Betts all together. And Kobe, it's always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. And I'm going to hijack off the gate because no baseball going on right now. Greg, how was sweating in a casino? I need to know. We need to talk about this, and I have a request.
Oh, absolutely. And I do want that request. It was a lot of fun. I never thought I'd be jogging through the South Point. I knew exactly where I was at. I was able to get down a bet on the National League within 45 seconds. That's how convenient that kiosk was. So, you know what? I didn't have 100 billion people staring at me, so I would say that it was a mission well accomplished.
Now, have you seen the guy that does the marathons in random places? Was this inspired by that, or have you not seen him and I need to send him to you?
I do not know who you're talking about. Like, I just do my 12-mile runs every day.
I'm going to keep my my hijacking going. So there's a guy that will do like a marathon inside, like on top of his refrigerator. He'll do it inside of the dryer. So my request to you is to do those miles in your living room, just circling.
I don't know if I'll have enough room to be able to do so.
That's the beauty of it.
Does he like jog in place, or does he like take 5 steps?
Greg, I'll have to send it to you because it's one of my favorite bits on the internet, and it's just hilarious because he's just circling in place for hours.
That sounds like fun, and that sounds like something that actually might not be the world's most difficult thing to do, but that is going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. So we're going to need to get that all set up, and Colby, what we're going to need to get set up is just how you're taking a look at the second half of the year, because I know you do such a great job looking at this great game of baseball. You've been on one of the most profitable teams in all of baseball quite a bit this year in the Chicago White Sox, and do you think that there's staying power with some of these surprise teams from the first half of the season?
I think it's going to be real interesting what the White Sox do. I mean, they kind of have to buy. I mean, they did a phenomenal job with the draft. I'm sure they'll move some pieces to get probably better arms from the draft, but they're not going to get rid of Tomei or Chalowski. Take notes, Kamish. Take notes. That's how you say his name. They're going to be interesting to see. I mean, they just got Mooney back last week, and they swept the A's to close out the first half of the season. And I don't see them stopping. I really don't. I think getting Mooney back is the spark plug they need, and they weren't even that bad without him, which is pretty shocking because I thought he was the whole heartbeat of the team. But the power of friendship is very real with that team. And it'll be interesting who they go and get, and will Jerry be willing to spend, because we all know that's the cheapest owner known to mankind, MNBA and MLB. I'm trying to think of other teams. They consume my life because Chicagoan over here. And I'm not even a Sox fan. People forget, Greg. But the one thing that, I mean, obviously the last time I talked, I was kind of in a pretty good slump. And July has been very good to me. I really hope, just trusting that couple weeks stretch of June was just a fluke, because I really like the process I have. I think it's really fun what I'm looking at. I think the data is worth trusting. So I'm going to keep it going in July. Hard contact, elevation rate, which is just me combining fly ball and line drive rate, and that's what I call elevation rate.
Yep, and I know that you've been talking about just guys that elevate the ball in general, so to go a little bit further, who have been a few guys that have been standing out to you that you've really been able to find some value on that maybe bookmakers aren't taking note of? Maybe it's a guy like a Kyle Schwarber who's had 100 billion home runs, and maybe it's someone a little bit further off the board.
You know, that's a good talking point with Schwarber, because before the break against Brady Singer, the closing price for Schwarber's home run was even. And I know you and I know that's just an idiotic price to pay for a baseball player's ceiling. I mean, he's not going to do anything more. He can't hit something beyond a home run in terms of outside of obviously grand slam, 2-3 runs. But there's no reason anyone should ever go pay that price. And I just wanted to say that because it's insane. And I was on the 2 home runs that day because it was 10-1, and I thought that was a pretty decent price when one is even. And then a lot of people were trying to tell me that makes it an L word. We don't use that word. The G word doesn't exist. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, I really hope he doesn't homer today, just so people can realize how stupid that play was. Also, his bases were -110. Why wouldn't you just bet that? You could save your rear end more. But in terms of value, it's such a weird point in the season, because I believe that the books don't care about baseball. The volume isn't there like it is for the MNBA, college basketball, or the NFL. So they take a break. I mean, right now they're taking a break. They took a break yesterday, giving me a boost and plus 910 on Jordan Walker to win the Derby. But if you look at the market every single day, you know what is a good price and what isn't a good price. I mean, like I mentioned with Schwarber, terrible price. Jordan Alvarez has been hovering around, starting to be a price where I'm going to start getting picky. I don't like taking 2-1 or anything below that unless I have all the confidence in the world that today is the day this guy's going to leave the yard. When a guy like that is 3-1, you got to know it's a misprice. If you like him, don't just bet something just to bet him because of the name. Have a reason behind it. Unless you're going to the game and you're like, I kind of just want to hopefully see this. That's fine. Who else has a good James Wood. First of all, I'm in love with that guy. I am so happy that the younger generation gets to enjoy this guy for the next, we get to enjoy him too, for the next 20 years because James Wood is just an absolute joy to watch. And his prices fluctuate. You can get really good odds on his HRR sometimes. Minus 110 is a steal. And a guy that leads off, that's a steal. And sometimes his bases are plus 130 if the HRR is a terrible price. I believe Sunday, final day of the first half of the regular season, was 345. You and I both know that's wrong. And sure enough, leadoff homer, first at bat, boom. So it's just studs. We all know who the studs are in baseball, who elevate, who make a ton of hard contact. James Wood, Jack Caglione, just giants. No good price. Jack Caglione also seeing the ball very well despite his Derby performance.
Yep, certainly. With Jack Caglione, his time is going to come in the Derby. I feel like it was maybe a little bit too much too soon. And how much
Can't have your dad throw to you.
Yeah, that's a little bit rough. And how much do you take a look at some of those younger guys? Because you mentioned Caglione, James Wood. We get good wood for so many years. So I absolutely love that. Yes, sir. I always love making that joke. But how do you take a look at these guys in the second half of the year? Because my lone trepidation with some of these younger guys is that because many of them are maybe in their first or second year of playing a full 162 games, that maybe they do hit a little bit of a wall at like game 120, game 125.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Jack's hit his strides over the last month and a half. I think it was when they were in Tampa, he hit 2 home runs in one game, I think it was. And he's just somebody, if you look at the data, you see that even when he's frozen, and I mean frozen, like it's blue, 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 blue. And then when you get to the spots that I like, that hard contact barrel rate is bright red. And to me, that means he's due. He's due for some positive regression, as some people like to say. Progression is the word, folks. You can't hit I saw it at one time, Greg. I think he was batting like 220, but he was making 73% hard hit rate. That's going to come around. You don't hit the ball 110 miles an hour all the time into somebody's glove, or that's the only way this is going to go, or just a line drive out to the outfield. It's going to come around. He's going to find some grass. He's going to find some dirt. He's going to find the stands. So it's stuff like that. And I think he's going to have a great second half. He's somebody I should have bought on over Vinny Pasquantino, RIP to all those futures. I think James Wood isn't going to slow down. I think he's only going to get better. And this is his third year, I believe. He looks great. The Nationals, if you haven't watched, people, they're one of the most exciting teams in baseball, and it's not even close. And they're young. They're dangerous. They get out to an early lead nearly every single game, and they're just humming right now.
Oh, they certainly are humming. It has been a lot of fun to look at. And for the Washington Nationals, how much staying power do you think that this team might have in that NL East, where I think that might be the best race in all of baseball in the second half, with the way that the Atlanta Braves have toilet bowled, the Philadelphia Phillies have risen up, the Miami Marlins. Like, the Miami Marlins have been the best team in all of baseball since June 1st. The Nationals are still there, and then we have the Mets.
Shouts out to the Mets. One, I completely agree. The Nationals and the Marlins being fun, like good for the fan base. Also, if you're a Marlins fan, get your rear end out to the field. Get your rear end out there. The last time you could be excited about this team was when I was in grade school. So get your rear ends out to the ballpark. Lone Depot, not Home Depot. I called it Home Depot last week, and I was really embarrassed that I was wrong. They're so fun. And I'm really hoping that the advanced analytics that team loves to use, the advanced metrics we saw Yuri Perez getting pulled on his perfect game. They're so in depth with the advanced analytics that I really hope it pans out for them. I really do. I'm not the biggest. I am a nerd. I am a numbers nerd. But when it actually comes to the game, I don't want all that numbers involved. The eye test means something. Having baseball knowledge means something. And I just don't want. I'm starting. I have old head takes and new school takes. So for the old heads that enjoy this take, bear with, or the young heads that don't like this take, bear with me. But they're so exciting, and I really hope the Nationals are buyers at the deadline. I mean, they have to be. I feel like get some arms, get the best possible arm you can, and something that isn't going to be a Band-Aid because everyone in that rotation is horrible. While the Marlins pretty respectable rotation, in my opinion.
Yep, it's so interesting with some of these teams because how about if we take a look at the American League side of things because we started off taking a look at the Chicago White Sox. Holy crud, yeah, you just took the words right out of my mouth. I have no idea what to make out of this entire league. I don't think I've ever seen a league so bad in my life, and other than the White Sox, is there maybe a team or two that you have a little bit of confidence to be able to win some games because at some point, someone has to win games?
Yeah, I keep trying to think, where's the value in somebody in the American League if I want to get involved with the World Series or just the pennant? One, as a Yankee fan, nobody in their right mind should be taking any price that they're giving you in the Yankees because that team is atrocious. That is not a championship caliber team. I don't care what any New York radio station tries to tell you. Well, that's the ebbs and flows of the season. There's always going to be these. Yeah, they do it every year. I like the Rays. This is no AL East bias. I like the Rays. I don't think they have enough. I think the pitching is due for regression. I think I've said this before on this show. I like the Rangers. I'm not in love with their offense. It's not the 2023 offense that I absolutely fell in love with. But the pitching is just so sexy. There's really not many flaws on that rotation. It's a multiple head monster. Eovaldi looks good. Mackenzie Gore is finally looking solid. And they got DeGrom. And then even punching bag Kumar Rocker looks serviceable. I think the pitching is far more dangerous than hitting. And I think if the offense can actually be sustainable and be consistent, they're a team worth looking at, and they're a team who's also very well coached. Skip Schumacher is a hell of a coach, and he still, I think, has an opportunity to be in the argument of AL Manager of the Year. But I hope it's Will Venable because I have a 50-1 ticket.
Yep, that would be great because we all want to see your tickets cash here, Kobe. I am a big fan. I do not have a dog or pony in this race, so we are rooting for you, my friend. And then one last thing, because I know that you've talked about in the past, taking a look at some of these team totals, first 5 team totals. Is that something that you're going to do a little bit more here in the second half of the season, now that we've got a very big sample size of 90-plus games for all these teams?
Oh, 100%. This is typically when that prop does very well for me. I mean, June was pretty tough. It's tough to take them on the chin when they hook you or they had multiple opportunities to score runs. But when you have that was a good read moment, you got to be able to trust your reads, and you're not going to hit every single bet. You're not going to hit at a 100% clip. No one's hitting at a 100% clip. You're going to lose. But as long as you saw the opportunity and it just didn't come through, trust yourself, trust your process, and trust the pitching data that's in front of you, because we got a half season's worth of data. If they're bad, probably bad.
Yeah, at this point, it's no longer, it's early and everything like that. It's anything but early. We're over halfway through the season, so I'm right there with you. And Kobe, one thing that I do know is that you always get the job done. You always deliver great insights, and I know that it's going to be a great second half of the season for you. So let the good people at home know it's all on tap for you and how people can follow on social media and other platforms.
Of course, and I hope your second half is better than mine. Colby M. Betts, wherever you need to find me. All my write-ups right now are at Covers. Off the Board podcast is on Better Day. Have yourself a better day. And if you got any questions, concerns, you want to pick my subpar brain, I'm always here. Shoot me a message, or if Twitter/X is weird, reply to me. I will get to you however I need to. I'm always here to help.
Perfect. And our good friend Kobe, he's doing such an amazing job taking a look at this great game that we all know and love of baseball. Every single time he joins me, he learns such great insights. So big thanks, Kobe, for joining me on the Baseball Betting Show, now part of the VSiN family of podcasts. And if you do like what you're hearing from this fine podcast, Baseball Betting Show, you're able to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. If you have a question, comment, segment idea, what have you for this podcast, you have one of two ways we fire those in. First one is my Twitter/X timeline at gunit_81. Keep in mind, LRCM, naming does not matter, so as per usual, please do send these into the timeline. And the other way is find an Apple Podcast review. If you rate this podcast 5 stars, it's very much appreciated. From there, you're able to fire in whatever you'd like to hear on this podcast via that 5-star review. And I'm with you guys every single day on this podcast throughout the entirety of the season. We're not going to have any games here for Wednesday, but you know what? We get back into it on Thursday, so this will probably be like one of the very, very few days throughout the year, aside from the postseason, where you don't get to touch them all, but we'll be with you guys until a World Series title winner is crowned. So I look forward to talking to you guys once again tomorrow, where we've got more games on the board, and let's have ourselves a great second half. Thank you so much.